Other men of your rank share their counsel with their wives in the privacy of their own homesteads. Smoker's cough. I am also not other men, he said harshly, as if in bitter mockery of the jovial talk they had just been having. Whatever the king has ordered of you, it's clear that the burden weighs heavily on you. I know you. I feel the weight of your karma, your role and duty pressing down on you like a vice. I have no wish to see you smothered by it. I just want to help you. Truly, then why are you pressing the matter? Why won't you let me bear it in my own way, as I always have? I have no need for you to hold my hand through these things. Oh, well, thank the ancestors for your cold, uncaring hands. What of my hands? What of me? How do you think it makes me feel watching you, my love, destroy yourself with each passing day and each passing hour? And I have no way to help you in any possible way because you never talk about such things. You never stop trying to talk about such things. You think I don't have my reasons for withholding such karma from you and the children? Well, it's comforting to know you consider me equal in rank with the children in handling such matters. That's not what I said. The meaning was clear. Apparently not. That wasn't my meaning at all. Then what? It's complex? Don't mock me, he said, his fist slamming down on the table, shattering it. He didn't mean to do that. Lately it felt that he didn't mean to do much of anything anymore. He found himself stumbling through these past few days like a drunkard. Why would she do that? The mockery in her tone stung him, far worse than his right hand, which was now bleeding and full of splinters. Not you, he said. From anyone I can bear it, except you. Aragrid, she said. I'm so sorry. He felt tears beginning to well up in his eyes. What is happening to me, he thought, with a mild panic steadily building up within him. Am I becoming like a brittle, battle-torn weeper before I even embark on my king's quest? The thought was unnerving. He averted his gaze from Isabel in shame, lest she realize he had almost began to weep. She wordlessly tended to his wound. It wasn't much of a wound, really. His body bore the scars of many battles. Years ago, in the peak of his glory, he saw only now in cruel hindsight. Yet his mind would have never began cracking so easily in those days. Back then his mind was as sharp as the two-handed greatsword he wielded. Not only was his sword sharp, but a steel that did not break. Few living men of Aragorn's time could form steel from the karma of their minds. Few men could have carried it in their mind's sheath, let alone use it vigorously for hours on end, in battles that began at dawn and dragged on until the moon showed her face. But that was over a decade ago. Had he allowed himself to degenerate so quickly? How, he wondered. Soft fruit breeds soft men, his brother Iriso taunted whilst casually leaning in the doorway, smirking in that infuriating way of his. But no, he was long dead. It was simply an imprint of the old dead fool. He pushed the memory aside, with conscious effort to make it fade into the void. His attention was brought back to Isabel when she gently kissed his hand, the way she used to do in the early days of their marriage, while they were just getting to know each other and slowly but steadily falling in love. Isabel, Aragorn began. Just then he was interrupted by his youngest son, Arka, running through the doorway into the living room, eager to show off his latest toy to his father. The boy was only 7, vigorous, and obsessed with the fables of old. He began explaining how his new toys were doubtless superior to those of Lord Oakeney's children. He was excited to show them off to their part-time neighbors. Arka was the only one of his children who truly loved the keep days, those days when highborn children were legally required to live in the capital city of Cerisil, close to the king and the bulk of his army and agents. The pointlessly extravagant castles of their neighbors reminded him of his favorite epic poems, and he was very competitive with his highborn peers. Aragorn smiled as his youngest son regaled him with the trivial childhood adventures, and was surprised to find that his smile was genuine, not forced like most of his other expressions as of late. My lord, Isabel said, if you wish I can send the boy away, to give you time to further meditate. Arrogant sighed, forgiving her in that very instant. Love, it may help me to take my mind off it for a while. We will continue our discussion later. I promise. As you wish, love. His daughter Jasmine, a 12-year-old, liked to sleep in late. She joined her parents and younger brother later, first eating a healthy breakfast before joining her father and brother in a child's board game. Isabel knitted and sang softly on the couch, occasionally giving Arca advice in the game. Jasmine shoved sugary rice and olives into her mouth with no pretense of manners. Her parents didn't bother to correct her. Their policy was to allow such casual behavior at the homestead. Only during the keep days were the children forced to practice their table manners and other formalities. Aragrid knew of all his children, Jasmine dreaded the keep days most, not just because of the formalized meals. She didn't enjoy ladylike behavior and activities as much as most girls her age, nor did she enjoy the company of her neighbors. At that last part, Aragrid couldn't help but agree. He found the atmosphere of Imperial Alley and court intrigues petty distractions, a chore to be endured. After everyone had their fill of breakfast, they returned to playing their games. Arca began practicing his flute, trying to master the subtle art of hole-inducing music. The closer he played to the intended tune, and the better he mastered the rhythm of the battle hymn, the more vivid and detailed his figurines became. Detail filled them steadily, as if the hymn was resurrecting the ancient saga. Aragrid felt pride of the boy's abilities. For his age, he was doing quite well in capturing the tune. But Jasmine didn't really care about the story or drama of their game. She didn't summon any toy heroes of old or princesses of fabled beauty. Instead, she used the karma of her mind to form replicas of the city they would soon move back into. Aragrid would have expected her attempt to make replicas of the mighty castles and fortresses of the Imperial Alley, where she was most familiar, but instead she insisted on recreating the old, decrepit hovels of one of the older wards of the city. How she seemed to remember much of the detail of that ward was beyond him, for she could only have seen it for a handful of times from the safety of their carriage. "Why that ward, dear?" Aragrid asked her. "It's the prettiest," she said simply, as if she were answering an obvious question that only a dullard would ask. Aragrid smirked at her tone. "And why is that?" he asked, bemused. "It has personality," she declared. "And what of our illustrious neighbors? Lord Oakenie's keep is a stone wonder, with pillars of marble flanking its front gate. The dome of Lord Lavathi's castle is said to rival those of antiquity. Lord Othali's keep is made in the likeness of his legendary ancestors, whose immense stone walls stood impenetrable for many centuries. Do those fine structures lack personality? They're just pretending. Pretending? Pretending to be things they are not. They are not impenetrable fortresses. The war hasn't reached Terra proper for centuries. They are pretending to be things they are not. They have no function other than to impress. Your brother seems to like them. Vice hates them too." Aragrid vaguely wondered how she heard about that ridiculous, melodramatic nickname of his eldest son and heir, who was now spared from the keep days due to his residency at the prestigious military academy Kayakora. She hadn't even seen him in over a year. "Your other brother, you may remember him if you try." She giggled. "Of course Arca likes it. He's a baby." "That baby," he said with a hint of chastisement, "plays the flute better than some 12-year-old girls I could name." He decided not to press the matter, not wanting her last day of the year in their homestead altogether to be yet another tedious lesson. He turned his attention to Arca, who was struggling with a particularly difficult part of a high-level battle hymn. He wasn't near in tune, nor in harmony with his mother's part of the duet. "Isn't that a little advanced for his age?" he asked Isabel. He insisted. "I can do it," Arca said. "Arca," Aragrid said. "A song such as this must be approached with the respect it's due." "I know," Arca said. "The mind must be at peace to capture the tune. It cannot be coerced out of the cosmos, as the peasants insist. I know. Isabel began singing the verses of the battle hymn gently, soothingly. It calmed Arca, even though he was already agitated. Such was the charm of her voice. Aragrid smiled. I will accompany you. Follow my lead, sing the echo. And so Aragrid then began the battle hymn, Light's Unceasing Dominance, composed by the court poet of the late king during his campaign on the northern frontier. And all the world will soon be his, all the virgins our mistress, saving life from the grave's kiss to bring forth everlasting bliss. Arca was doing much better now, singing the echo of the battle hymn. On a whim, Aragrid began the second verse. Sowing everlasting spring, of his works the minstrels sing, our valiant flesh-consuming king soon will conquer everything. Such epic battle hymns are very hole-inducing, used primarily in battles to strengthen the resolve of men and boost the flow of their karma. Men in rank and file have their karma strengthened, cleared of negativity, and all their minds' individual strengths are enhanced and their weaknesses minimized.